Welcome to another episode of Jimmy B Bricks. I hope I had your curiosity and now I have your attention. Step into my imagination as I share my LEGO builds ranging from speed champion sets, Marvel, Star Wars to even custom designs, with a focus on race cars and garage builds and some of my favorite movies and shows. On this week's episode, we go over some of the LEGO F1 sets being released. At the Las Vegas Grand Prix this past November, all the F1 sets coming in 2025 were announced, but we're going to focus primarily on the Speed Champions F1 lineup, all 10 of them, as the others were more of a playset and not my style. Deciding whether it's worth getting all 10 sets depends on several factors, such as your personal interest, budget, space, and how much you value having the complete collection. If these sets are part of a hobby you're passionate about, collecting them all might bring you joy and satisfaction, and can also be a rewarding feeling. Or if the sets are investments that might appreciate in value over time. On the other hand, consider your budget and whether purchasing all sets might stretch your finances too. Additionally, think about whether you have the space to store or display them. Now, with that being said, I'll answer the thumbnail question. It's a necessary flex. Before we jump into it, let's go over some past F1 Speed Champion sets. Here we have the Mercedes Dual Pack that was released back in 2022, retailing at $34.99. It included the F1 with the AMG Project 1, which was one of my favorites and was able to add it to my collection before I retire at the end of 2024. Fast forwarding to 2 years, we get the news of the F1 McLaren car based from the 2023, released in March of 2024. And did not have to wait long, as 3 months later we got the dual pack of the Aston Martin F1 with the safety car, both based from the 2023 season. I will be comparing all 3 sets to the new one side by side later in this video, so let's tune in over at the shop. Here we take a look at all 10 drivers, and as you can see, unfortunately, they're not based on any of the real drivers in the Formula 1. But we did get a new mold for the helmet, which adds a great upgrade to this minifigures. Moving on to the first set, the Ferrari, of course, my favorite. All 10 sets came with 6 bags, but you're using 2 bags at a time. Now, even though Ferrari is my favorite, I do have some beef with this set that kind of drop it down to the ranking, and it's this part right here where they use a centerpiece, 2 doors to hold it in place. Now, I wasn't too impressed because I feel like that was a cop-out. It should have been break down to something, but it's just the 2 doors closes and holds the piece in. None of the other 9 sets have this design. Each one had a different way to handle that centerpiece, but the Ferrari set, it was just floating in there. And some might consider this a new technique, but for me, I just consider it a legal build. Sorry. But I do appreciate the details of the tires, where they made the back tires slightly bigger than the front. Fun fact, if you're new to LEGO, there will always be extra pieces. Don't be alarmed. And here we go, the first of 9, ready to head out. And now moving on to the second set, the McLaren. Now I randomly picked each set to build at a time. Stay tuned for after the video while I rank them from best to worst sets experience I had with each one. That was the best part of this collection, all 10. It was not the same experience in each one. Some had different techniques, some they varied. The wings all had the same design, and mostly the noses were the same, but everything else, it was fairly different. Well, there you have the new McLaren. We will be comparing this later with the one from last year. And moving on to the third set is the Red Bull team. Now, something special about both of the Red Bull sets in this collection is that both sets are required to be 18 and over to purchase. I believe this is the only way LEGO will be okay promoting an energy drink in their sets. I know there's mixed feelings about the amount of stickers a set would have, but I'm grateful that this set right there, the print of the bull in the back, was it's a printed piece, not a sticker. And moving on to the fourth set is Team Williams. And if anyone's wondering, yes, I built all 10 sets back to back. I'm on a building binge. And moving on to the fifth set, can anyone tell which set team this belongs to? That's right, Mercedes. I did enjoy building this Mercedes set. Much better than what it was back in 2022. Definitely a lot of upgrades. And it's one of my top 5, I should say. And don't forget to stay till the end of the video to see the rankings of all the sets. And coming up next is the Kick and Sauber team. And I do appreciate one of the details of this set. Very minor, but they included these 2 pieces at the wing to represent what it looks like in real life. And right there, those 2 pieces. And moving on to the next team that was surprisingly enjoyable to build this set, the Alpine team. The techniques used in this set was very refreshing considering I was binge building. It was the colors are vibrant. It was a fun combo, and again, don't forget to stay for at the end of the video to see my ranking. It might surprise you. And moving on to the other 18 plus set, the Visa Red Bull Cash App team. And another set I really enjoyed building was the Haas team car that it was fairly fun to build. Not sure if I'm being biased because I do love red and black, and these colors do pop. And last but not least, well, maybe, the Aston Martin team. Yes, coincidentally was the last set I built and my least favorite. Oh, spoiler alert. And there you have it, all 10 teams. And as promised, here we are going to compare the F1 from a few years ago from Mercedes. And we can all agree it's definitely an upgrade what we got this year. And let's take a look at the minifigures. There is an advantage in the original set. As you can tell, the torso had more detail on the back and front compared to this year, which is very minimum, but it makes up for it with the helmet. And this is the McLaren from last year. Comparing it to this year, once again, definitely another upgrade. And once again, there is a slight advantage on last year's set on the printing on the back and front. And of course, we have the Aston Martin. Again, in my opinion, it was I almost put the wrong one back and confused it for last year's model. Not much of a difference besides the tires and the wing design, but it was very underwhelming, this set. Well, that does it for this week's episode. Thank you for watching, and I hope I earned your attention, as this is just the beginning. Don't forget to subscribe and follow on other platforms. Until next week, stay tuned.